Hey guys, my name is Jessie and I'm a Master's of Psychology student studying in Toronto. And this month is Black History Month. So, a large chunk of my content is going to be dedicated to promoting Black mental health. And today I'm going to talk about suicide. There's so many reasons why I want to do this video on suicide. Suicide is something that doesn't just affect Black people, it doesn't discriminate based on your race. But most recently, in the Black community, we've seen headlines of the passing of Ian Alexander King Jr. and Cheslie Kryst. One of the things that makes suicide so complex is that it's difficult to decipher and to pinpoint who is experiencing active suicidal ideation, low mood, and hopelessness. This is especially true in the Black community, where it is normal for people to hide behind the socially constructed mask of the strong Black woman, the sexual and fun Jezebel, the tough gangster front, and the mammy who's always taking care of everybody else but herself with a smile on her face. This is why it is so important, imperative that in the Black community we talk about suicide. We acknowledge when we're not okay and when we need help, and we feel comfortable and we give ourselves permission to talk about it and to seek help. But it can be really hard for people to admit that they need help and to even get help. And one, that's because there's a long history of mistrust of the medical system using, exploiting, and just doing really weird and disgusting things to Black people in the name of who knows what. Until you just don't feel like yourself, you may start to question what's wrong with you, not knowing how you got to this point, why you're experiencing intrusive thoughts, and you just don't feel like yourself. And so today I'm going to talk about 3 theories and apply them to the Black community in North America to try to explain why some Black people, not in all cases, but sometimes, why Black people may begin to experience suicidal ideation. The first theory is called frustration aggression hypothesis. According to this theory, frustration is the feeling created when a person is unable to achieve a goal because of pressure or barriers that they cannot change and have no control over. Consequently, they become frustrated, which leads to aggression. In other words, frustration causes aggression. The theory says that because the source of frustration cannot be changed or controlled, the aggression gets displaced onto an innocent target. In the case of suicide, the target would be the person themselves. Due to systemic issues, many Black people in North America live in urban areas that have poor housing, poor access to grocery stores with organic foods, few recreational activity centers for children such as swimming pools, tennis courts, etc., and are just blatantly under-resourced. This can lead to frustration, which according to this theory leads to aggression, which takes many forms, including self-directed violence and suicide. The second theory is interpersonal psychological theory of suicide, IPTS. This theory proposes people who commit suicide have the desire and ability to do so. The desire refers to 3 psychological states: thwarted belongingness, perceived burdensomeness, and hopelessness. Thwarted belongingness is a general feeling that you do not belong. Imagine a Black person who lives and interacts in predominantly white spaces, where the expectation is that they conform to a gangster image. This individual may start to feel as though they do not belong because who they are and what people expect them to be do not align. Think, no one understands me, or I am alone. Perceived burdensomeness is the belief that you are a burden to others. You are a liability, and those around you, or even the larger society, would be better off without you. Think, my family deserves better than me. I am a burden. The state of hopelessness was a later addition to this theory. It involves a negative outlook on the future. Think, things will not get better. The second component, the ability to commit suicide, is known as acquired ability. It is the idea that the desire is not enough to actually act. The theory suggests that an individual who has the acquired ability has fought down their natural self-preservation motivations and in turn developed the appetite to engage in risky behavior that could lead to death. Males are more prone to have a higher acquired ability due to their engagement in more violent behavior, and therefore, according to this theory, they are more likely to die by suicide. The final theory is status integration theory. This theory proposes that as Black people from low socioeconomic backgrounds work their way into middle and upper middle classes, they inherit the economic, social, and psychological tensions of their counterparts, which in North American societies would be their white counterparts. The more upwardly mobile Blacks become, the more intense are problems of adjustment and assimilation into the North American mainstream. For example, having to straighten your hair, cut off your locks, or fix it a certain way to be perceived as professional at your new job, or having to pretend you like rap music more than you actually do to bond with your boss, and adjusting to their assumptions of your interests and tastes. This can lead to thwarted belongingness, or a general sense of social alienation, which when internalized can lead to suicidal ideation. So those were 3 theories to help explain why some members of our Black community may commit suicide. If there's one message that I want to drive home from this video, is that if you are experiencing suicidal ideation, please get help. Please give yourself the permission to get help. Know that you matter. I'm also going to leave some resources in the description section of this video that can be the first step in the process of reaching out and getting help.